Hey everyone, welcome to the Mayor's Table. We have a special show for you today. All of the Farmington City Council is joining me here on the Mayor's Table. We're going to get into 2025, 2026, things happening in your community. But before we do, Council,
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hey everyone, Merry Christmas and welcome to the Mayor's Table. We are here today with the Farmington City Council. This is something we've done. I know we did it last year. Did we do it the year before too?
We
Seems
did.
like we did, yeah. Just like to bring the council together and have a discussion for our community of kind of reflection on what has happened in 2025, things that we're looking forward to in 2026. Just a very broad discussion where no action will be taken and no discussion of agenda items will be had. This is just simply a conversation with the community to make sure they kind of know who we are, what we're doing, and I'd just like to see you guys. So it's nice to have you here on the show.
It's nice to be here, Mayor.
Yeah. Let's start over here. I'll let you all introduce yourselves. So, Councilor Rogers.
I'm Linda Rogers, and I've been on the Farmington City Council since 2015 when I was appointed by Mayor Tommy Roberts, and I've been in 3 elections since that time, and I just won re-election for another 4 years starting next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excited.
Yeah. Councilor Buck.
Herman Buck from District 2. Been here for 2 years. I'm just finishing up. It was an awesome run.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Well, glad you're here too, Councilor Buck. And this will be kind of our opportunity to say thank you for your service. As we know, your service will end on January 1st. You got 2 more weeks though. So I know you'll do a great job and thank you for what you brought to the council. Yeah. Councilor Giacchino.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Janice Giacchino. I was elected in 2018 and subsequently re-elected again for my 2nd term. So 7 years into this, and I'm having a great time.
Yeah. And Councilor Bingham Kelly.
Janine Bingham Kelly, District 3. I was elected in 2018 as well.
And I am Mayor Nate Duckett, elected mayor in 2018 and council in 2014. And of course, I know we're all, one of the things I love about this group of individuals, we're truly service-minded folks. You know, I don't typically see any type of selfishness when it comes to decisions that are made, and certainly you all are very astute and quick to respond to your constituents' concerns and questions, and we're very active, very accessible, and I think that's important for local government to be accessible to its community. And you know, while we're a community that's only 46,000 people, so to speak, you know, we recognize that on any weekend there's probably 100,000 people here, and we've looked at our trade market, which is about 300,000 people. So the community that we're building here is really built for a much larger region than just what is the 46,000 person area. So it's a big job, and I just want to thank you all for the work that you do each and every day, and the important collaborations that happen on a regular basis at council, and really trying to do the right thing and put our right foot forward, and working working on behalf of the voters and even those who don't vote. We work for them as well. So we work for everybody here. Well, great. Well, let's kind of kick it off and talk about things that have happened in 2025, things that you all have been most proud of. And we start over here with Councilor Rogers. You know, what's something that you've been really proud of here in 2025?
There are so many things when we think about how the last year has gone. So many things to be grateful for and thankful for. I think seeing the Pinion Hills bypass has been really rewarding, because it was such a need in the community and thought of for such a long time, and it's happening. It's happened. We're going to do the ribbon cutting in a week or so,
Well,
and
it'll be tomorrow when this airs, actually.
right,
So this airs,
right.
yeah, so
it's
December 16th. If you're available at noon, we'll be on the road cutting ribbons.
It looks great too.
It's really fantastic.
It's
looking road.
fantastic.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I mean, it's a $46 million project. That's a big deal. And I had a gentleman come to me the other day and tell me, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting 30 years. And how excited I am, and how much easier it's going to make it for me to move from different sides of town. And Of course, we know that the road is not complete yet. We need people to understand that there is another part of that road that's the county responsibility. But the part that we had to play, we've played, and we just ask people to please drive safely on it and use it responsibly.
Another thing that's really impressive about that project is that it's ahead of schedule.
Yes, 2 months ahead of schedule.
So that's really impressive.
Yeah, it'd been great if it had been under budget, but
Yeah,
it was right on budget, at least.
which is an accomplishment.
Which is an accomplishment as well. So yeah, thank our contractors, AUI, Bohannon Houston, for the work that they've done on that and bringing that to fruition. But I can't wait to drive it.
I can't wait to drive it also.
I'm going to use it. I really think I'm going to use it all the time.
You-
I'm going to make that determination. I got to go downtown for work, so I'm just going to take South Side, and then, I mean, it just gives you another route across the river,
It
right?
does.
I mean, isn't that really important for a community to say we've got another route, another bridge that takes you over a river corridor? Thoughts?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it will ease traffic somewhat across Browning and other arteries in the community as well.
Sure. Emergency services, easier for them to get through there.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely like to see the county get their part done, and of course we'll support them any way that we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Councilor Giacchino, what are some of the things you're proud of?
Well, I'm really excited about the All Abilities Park Boundless Journey. It's not a decades-old project like Pinion Hills Bypass, but I'm really excited to see families out getting some fresh air, enjoying community coming together, and that project really symbolizes all of that because it was community-minded. Somebody had an idea and used their network connections and brought all of us together, and many people were able to play a part in that. And I was just out there yesterday and seeing some people come out with their families, their children, their friends, and it's wonderful. When I was a child, my parents couldn't get me to come back inside, and now parents can't get their kids to go outside. And hopefully we can be a solution to do that.
It's so
Yeah.
exciting too, because when you are out and about in the community, people are talking about it, they're excited about it, they love it, they've enjoyed it, and we've had a really nice run of good weather. So it's been fun to see all of the enthusiasm in the community about that.
And we're not done yet. There are
Right.
still more phases to go, so we can continue to build and expand on the idea that we started with and be more innovative. I'm excited about that one the
Me too.
most.
Yeah, it's important for folks to know when they go out there, you're going to see a lot of dirt around that particular park. But that's because Phase 2, which is actually, I think, probably bigger than what Phase 1 is, will hopefully we'll have the funding in place and we can start something next year. There is a bathroom being built out there right now to accompany what has already been built, so that should be done probably, first quarter 2026. But one of the things I find most special about that project is the public-private partnership that's really taken place. I mean, this is really came out of the vision, Maryland's vision, and the All Abilities Park Foundation, and the way that they have managed with the assistance of Farmington Municipal Schools, which we had to have there to, hand that land over to the city, keep it in the public sector the way that it had been traditionally when it was Farmington High School many decades ago, and then Tibbetts Middle School, well, junior high then middle school. But to have that partnership, that good partnership with the schools, to see that handoff take place, and then the private fundraising that they have done to help offset the public cost. And of course to staff, one of the great things I'll say about 2025 is the way that the staff at the City of Farmington has worked so diligently to bring these state and federal dollars back to us. We all talk about the taxes that we pay and it leaves our area. Well, we've really worked hard to kind of counteract that by bringing that money back in and putting it in to what I call quality of life projects that are improving this community and making people proud of where they live. And so, yeah, thank you to the All Abilities Park Foundation and to all the donors. We worked on the donor wall here actually this past week. We're out there pounding on concrete to get that thing ready to put some names on. It's going to be beautiful, and B&M Sillison has done a great job, as well as our architects, Greg and everybody from, you have to remind me the name of that group, but sorry, Greg, your group is excellent. Don't spend too much time. Nobody had it on the top of their mind? Okay. But yeah, All Abilities Park, one of my highlights.
Creative concepts.
Creative concepts, that might be right.
So-
Yeah. Councilor Buck,
I'm
Something to be
glad
proud of.
the football field stayed there. I was there the other night walking
Yeah.
in circles, and I'm glad it's still there.
Well, that's a really good point, because people, let's reiterate this here, is the fact that we're going to keep that field to its somewhat at the same size of the degree.
Right.
There will be a slight manipulation of the track in phase 3, but phase 3 will be off. Phase 2 is the one I'm most interested in. Because the track is utilized so much, and it's become a community area. I see guys playing flag football on it all week long, and practices happening on that field. So, yeah, we definitely want to keep that use of that.
Yep.
For sure. Councilor Bingham Kelly.
My favorite project's been the River Wave. I think
Okay.
that is a great, it's nice to, I'm not a surfer,
Yeah.
but
No?
I love to go watch the people on it. The museum is, I just love that area, and I
It
just
sure
think
is
it's a
beautiful.
great addition to the museum area, so.
No, and the River Wave, of course, we got a lot of fanfare for that project. Parks and Rec received some awards from the state for that project. Obviously, we had that huge rain that came through, and it pushed a lot of debris into that area. So, obviously, it's going to be this is a learning process for us with this new amenity on how we can best maintain it. We got to dredge the river. A lot of folks, in a lot of places where they have some of these waves, they're on rivers that have controllable flows because they come from a dam. The Animas is a wild river. We don't have a dam on it. So, we kind of have to live and die by the flow of it. But we're going to be learning this winter on how to properly maintain it, dredge it when these heavy flows come through, and push sediment. I mean, we all went down there. I mean, rocks this big and logs and everything were flowing down that river with that huge rain that we had. So that will be an ongoing situation. I know there was some silly press involved in that, but it's going to be something that has to be maintained every year. So we can count on that happening.
What project are you most proud of?
Well, I would tell you one of the things we spent a lot of time and energy pursuing is bringing back air service to the Four Corners Regional Airport. I think, I've gotten just such great compliments from individuals who have consistently had to fly out of Durango for work or have had to fly family into Durango to get them down here. And now that's been made much easier. I love it. We obviously want to see more flights brought in. I would love a midday flight would be nice. So there's some opportunities there for variability. If you need to come back earlier than 9 o'clock at night, you have that option. But that being said, it's one step at a time, and the partnership that we have with SkyWest Airlines, with United Airlines, is something to be very proud of. And we got to use it. We got to fly out. We got to fill the seats so that we can make sure that it's made worthwhile. And of course, the state grant that helps us fund that, because regional airports are suffering from air service, and so typically you have to subsidize those airlines to come in. And the fact that the state was listening to us and developed a grant to help support us is very meaningful to me. So I hope our community is also enjoying that. If you haven't flown out of there yet, it's a very smooth flight, and we actually haven't had any cancellations yet. So this is really good news.
Fingers crossed.
Obviously there's delays, but there's delays in every airport.
Right.
And I've had conversation with individuals who are like, well, we don't want this to be like it was when Great Lakes was here and constantly canceling flights. There's no cancellations, but in every airport that I'm flying into, there are delays. And Dallas lately has been a real bugger for me and my family. So that's something I'm very proud of, and I'll kind of take it to the next step, because there is a lot of things that we did in 2025. But utility-wise, I think it's important for our community to know the continued investments that we're making into your water, your wastewater, and your electric utility. And this year was kind of a banner year. We're in the process right now of completing the construction at Water Treatment Plant 1 on Orchard. It's our oldest water treatment plant. We're expanding that to add more capacity and also improving the cleanliness of the water. It's not the right technical word, but expanding that, adding new technology to it to make it better. Also, what's been happening with the electric utility, we're about ready to commission and turn on 18 megawatts of natural gas power from the 2 reciprocal engines that we received from Sweden, I believe, or Switzerland. Very fancy.
Very fancy.
And again, that just adds, opportunity for us to have multiple places that we're able to bring power in for our own utility service. So, last thing I'll say about that is we are continuing our dam raise study. at Farmington Lake. And out of that dam raise study has come the discovery that just by increasing the spillway height by 5 feet, we can add something like 30 days of additional water capacity for a very low price. So we're currently out there gathering that money up from the state, and we're going to be hopefully going out to bid to have that project started next year. Those are big things.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, things we should be proud of.
It's important to mention when we're discussing quality of life, it isn't just about the parks and the river waves and the fun things.
Yeah.
It is also responsible for us to be mindful of infrastructure projects to have clean water, a good supply of water, and I want my lights to turn on every time I push that switch.
I sure do. And I like the fact that I think we looked at the national average per kilowatt cost for electricity, and we had one of the lowest in the United States. You know, we brag a lot about the fact that we've got the lowest electrical rates out of any service providers, certainly around our area, throughout New Mexico. But when you look at a national level, I think that's very attractive for individuals who are looking for opportunities to invest in the community. You know, you look at taxes, you look at cost of utilities, property taxes, those kind of things. And I just want to commend leadership there at our electric utility for the work they're doing to really make it a robust and redundant system that I think has a 99% continuation rate, right? Where there's no breakdowns. But
Which is impressive.
very impressive.
You know, Mayor, one thing I hear constantly is the roads in Farmington.
Sure.
And how that is part of infrastructure. We do have a lot of state highway roads, state roads in the community, and I think it's important for people to understand that as well, that we do a lot of maintenance on those roads, even though they aren't really ours to do the maintenance on.
Right. No, it is an important subject. So there's two different buckets of money there, right? The city bucket of money for paving is for city roads, and then the state has their bucket of money for state roads. And unfortunately, this last legislative session, they weren't funded very well at the state level. So I know that when you come into Farmington, as somebody said it to me the other day, you got this beautiful brand new bridge and road, but the road leading from there from Aztec is still full of that tar patch, which interestingly enough is held up really well. But when the sun hits it, when you're coming home at 4 o'clock right now, it's a little bright. But that is state highway. And we continue to try and work with the state to help them prioritize roads that are in that kind of condition, because we'll see what it looks like getting through this winter.
Right.
But we know when they're in conditions like that, it tends to lead to potholes and other issues that can lead to damage to vehicles and provide a safety issue. But this last year, we've done the recycle paving all the way up Hood Mesa Trail, or at least to the spot that we were allowed to do. That's a big deal. We continue to do the recycled paving with our plan to put that on all dirt roads, and we're chipping away at that process as we go down the line. We've also done 30th Streets, which I know was a big deal. That pipeline project, and I'll make sure we're very open with this community. That pipeline project runs all the way from 30th and Main Street to Sunset and 30th by Farmington High School. It's going to be an ongoing project. It's a years-long project, and there will be a point where we have to get into the intersection of 30th and Main. And I'm trying to, as long as we can continue to push that off, I would like to, because you reach a point sometimes where you're like, okay, enough road construction.
Right.
And why do you guys have to do it all at one time? Or why don't we do road construction at night on some of these intersections? And the night road construction part of it, the costs go up dramatically. The safety of the workers and the drivers goes up dramatically. But that may be a situation where when we do hit 30th and Main, the council at that time will need to look at that and say, all right, it's going to be worth the cost for us to do it, because that intersection during the day is just simply, it's too valuable. So maybe that's the case. I don't know.
You brought up a good point earlier, though. We have other options now. If 30th is your common route of travel now, you can always take East Main Street or Pinion Hills, or now all the way around to South Side. It may take you a little bit longer, but Farmington's a beautiful place, and maybe you find a new coffee shop or
Sure.
a restaurant you haven't been to in a while. This is a good thing. Orange barrels sometimes can make us grumpy, but I think there's a silver lining to them.
No, and that's the deal, right? I mean, either it's you're upset because the roads aren't paved and they're bumpy and rigid, or you're upset because they're fixing the roads. And roads is one of the, obviously you all know this, it's one of the most frequently brought up conversations with people in the community because we've all been driving on these roads for a long time. And I like to tell people we all have a PhD in driving because we do it all the time, some safer than others. And I think if we really had PhDs, we would put our phones down and start paying attention to where we're driving and not speeding, because when we look at issues that we face, roads brings up another issue just about the fact of what we're dealing with when it comes to speeding in this community. I think we've seen a study that was completed that basically showed per capita we've got some of the worst speeding problems of any small city that this group had ever been in before. And so as a call to action, I think all of us would agree. We got to slow down, Farmington. We really do. It's not worth saving a couple minutes, really, when you think about it. People who speed down Main Street, they're going to hit a red light. So why are we speeding down Main Street? Everybody's going to catch up to one another. But, I teach my son this. It's not worth it. Those minutes saved aren't worth your life or somebody else's life or damage to your vehicle or damage to city property. We've seen these two incidents happen between what occurred on Hutton and Main Street and then what occurred on Sullivan and Main Street, where city infrastructure, our street lights, intersection lights were damaged. And why haven't we been able to replace the Hutton light? I ask this question all the time. But the supply chain, unfortunately, is backed up. And the demand for those poles, and I guess these poles are a certain special size of pole and whatever the case may be, has caused an issue where we're not able to get those replaced in a timely manner. But all those things would be, null and void if we didn't have, silly drivers making bad decisions that are leading to injuries and property damage. As an insurance guy, I will tell you, I would really like for all of us to drive.
Or a tow truck driver.
Or a tow truck driver. I'm looking forward to the day, and I never would have ever dreamt I would have said this, where I think autonomous vehicles would be the safest mode of transportation for us. But I reach a point sometimes, I'm like, when I'm driving around, I'm constantly seeing people on their phones, constantly distracted, sitting at lights, doing this, and the light turns green, and they're still doing this, and it's like, put it down, and so there are things that we're trying to do to address that issue since we're on that topic, and obviously we've had more police presence there. We are utilizing the Real-Time Crime Center in conjunction with our own enforcement to help identify drivers and vehicles and trying to address those things. We have a zero tolerance on racing. Anybody who's caught racing basically is receiving the highest fine that can be issued at the municipal level. We also have a noise ordinance, a state noise ordinance for modified mufflers. We hear those concerns, especially in the neighborhoods off of Butler and Dustin and those areas. But I can even tell you, as somebody who lives near Pinion Hills Boulevard, I can hear those things at night there also. And for me, what it comes down to is just a recognition that you're not alone in this world, and that you are a part of a community, and you have a responsibility to be accountable for your actions for the protection of yourself and other people. I mean, it's really that simple. I know I've slowed down a lot as I've gotten older, and now I'm the guy that drives around waving his hand at people to slow down. I would never have been that guy, but I've recognized my role, and I hope that we can encourage our community to also recognize theirs, because the only people who can stop what is a terrible year in 2025 of unnecessary death and road accidents is you. It used to be only you can stop a forest fire, right? I mean, only you can stop, what's going on our streets and take care of what you can control. But
there are some roads in the community that are worse than others.
Sure.
Obviously, 20th Street, East Main, Browning Parkway, those areas were cited in the study that show many people speeding in those corridors.
Yeah, we're going to fix it. We'll come together as a community and
Absolutely.
We'll fix it. We won't talk about the speed cameras here because I do think that's an agenda item and something that we need to have discussion about in a public setting. And but that is something that you all have asked, and I have requested information on to fully understand what that program looks like. Not saying that any of us support it or don't support it, but if we don't know what we don't know, we can't really make good decisions. And so right now we're relying on the community, we're relying on our police department to enforce those laws. But we wouldn't have to have a police department if we would just abide by those laws, I guess, right?
We could probably have an entire episode
We sure
about
could.
traffic situations and speeding. And I speak from a place where my life was drastically altered due to a distracted driver. But I won't bring us back down in sentiment. However, I would implore the citizens and the public to be more courteous when you're driving. Wherever you're going, it's going to be there when you get there. And we drive among our neighbors and people that we live, work, and play with. So let's be kinder to each other on the road.
I just want people to get home safely every day.
Correct.
To and from work safely, without coming home stressed, without feeling like you wouldn't believe what just happened to me, without those kind of things. Like, I value that. But yes, good conversations. I think 2025 was a banner year. 2026 is going to have its own awesomeness. I really think, and I think some of that's projects that we'll see completed that are our city and state and federally funded projects, but also what's being put into the private sector. And the private sector last year spent quite a bit of money in Farmington, and I think that's welcome news when we talk about sustainability of this community and where we're going. We have an Amazon distribution center that came in. We've got the temple that was built on College Boulevard. I think that's a big thing. Hobby Lobby's moving, and then you got kind of the smaller shops, right? You got the Seven Brews and you got the Mavericks and the Allsups, but you don't want to downplay those things. Those are providing economic opportunity. They're providing jobs for families and jobs that provide benefits, and cities need those too. And they wouldn't be coming here if there wasn't demand for that.
Right.
Which
Very
is
true.
something people need to understand. I don't think, Councilor Rogers, that you're actively recruiting additional gas stations and coffee shops, are you? Without us knowing about it? Are you
No.
writing letters?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so the city's
I do
not.
like my coffee, though.
Yeah, I love coffee, but the city is not actively recruiting those. They're finding us here because we are an MSA, which is a metropolitan statistical area, that has shown that it can handle these additional service shops.
I think you raise a good point. I think there is a fallacy that people think that we are actively recruiting those types of businesses, the dollar stores and the gas stations and the coffee shops. Well, we don't recruit. People find us.
Right.
Mayor's correct. They do their own due diligence and purchase credit card data and find out where people are spending their money, and they respond to that. However, I'm not sad that we are having some of those smaller economic drivers in our community. I did my time in McDonald's when I was a teenager, and that
too.
taught me a lot. It taught me about multitasking, back when you had to know how to count change back without a computer telling you the amount. Learning how to work with other people and conflict resolution. Those jobs are important for our youth. And prior to going live, we were talking a little bit about this, how skilled professions are in need right now. We
Sure.
need people who can come up through the ranks, do their time at their fast food, and then become the blue-collar laborers that we all desire right now. The tow truck drivers, the welders, the plumbers. We need those types of people in our community to continue to thrive.
Oh, absolutely. And I saw an interesting statistic. So Farmington Municipal Schools is kind of changing the Cates Center into a trade center, right? That's essentially what it's going to be, to encourage high school kids to get involved in that, to use their hands, to learn a trade. And one of the stats they put on the board was the number of high school students who were holding jobs, and it went like to the 1980s. And the way that number has just kind of dropped off. And there's so much you learn about yourself and about life and personal accountability and working in a team and things that will help you for the rest of your life.
Right.
That when you can get involved and get engaged and get a job that gives you that opening opportunity at a young age, man, it's going to help. I mean, I was working, my first job was as a paper boy when I was like 10 years old, but I had to go knock on doors and talk to people and collect money from them. And
Right.
I had to learn those social skills at that time. And then my next job was at the marina at Lake Farmington, which was a lot of manual labor, but also a lot of customer service. And then I worked at Allen Theaters, and then, but these were all interactive things where you had to work in a team and work with the public. And I think it's served me really well. I feel confident, and felt confident at a very early age in my ability to have conversations like this, right, so to speak, in an area where I was never shy about it.
McDonald's was a great place to work as a teenager.
Yeah.
It taught me an awful lot.
Do you remember the Beanie Babies and Monopoly?
Oh, the Monopoly. That was incredible. We were all about the Monopoly. I don't think I ever won anything big, though, ever. You're always that one away, one away. No, I think that's an important thing. And I guess an encouragement to this community is parents, let your kids, get them out there in the workplace. Find places for them. If they're too young to start working, if there's a place where they can serve. That's the other thing I've been very proud of at this community, not just this last year, but as my time as elected official, is how many of our nonprofits and the missions that they serve, and the volunteer corps that is in serving that mission, how active they are, how much they care, how much they collaborate together in support of those who are in need. And we are very fortunate, in my mind, that we have those types of people and organizations here.
We have an awful lot of volunteer hours there. I know that you have an awards ceremony for people who do volunteer.
We do.
And it's a lot of hours that are put into this community. And I think that's makes us very vital.
I agree. Yep. And I know all of you have served on boards and have served your time, and Councilor Buck, certainly the volunteer hours you put in and service to those at the detention center and within your church, and love your mission and love your heart and willingness to do those things, and so many others out there who serve that same role. And we got to continue to grow that. Back to that young person component is, there's only so long somebody can continue to serve in some of these things. We have to bring new people in, just like a workplace does. You got to bring them in, recruit them, train them so that they can then do the same thing and keep that culture going. So, no, this is we have a very beautiful community when it comes to that.
Yes, we do.
So 2026, a lot of good things going to happen. Tell me your thoughts, Councilor Bingham Kelly. 2026, what are you looking forward to?
Market Pavilion.
The Market
That'd be
Pavilion.
Awesome to see that finally ready.
Yes.
So looking forward to that one.
Yes, I am too, for a number of reasons. Putting it into the inventory of available assets for folks to rent, getting to see the farmers market, the growers market, I guess as we call it, seeing that take place there. But it's going to have so many uses. And again, that's still phase one of that particular construction project, because we still have some, obviously, areas around the Market Pavilion itself that I think are going to be really dynamic. But then also on the north side of that property, and that's phase 3, I think. So this is like phase 1A, and then there's phase 1B, and there's phase 2, and then there's phase 3. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. That particular piece of property, which when we were elected, we talked about how that's kind of the center point of this city in regards to its location to the river, and everybody drives by it, and really trying to make that a dynamic place that's welcoming for people of all ages. And I just want to go watch people surf. I'm going to be like Councilor Bingham Kelly. I just want to watch people surf.
Are you a surfer?
No, I'm not a surfer. I don't plan on being a surfer.
No?
No. I tried to do skateboard when I was a kid. This wasn't my deal. I played baseball and football and judo, but not skateboarding.
I think I'll be an observer as well.
Yeah.
No surfing for me.
No. But yes, excited for Market Pavilion. A lot of construction delays on that. Supply chain is an issue. It's a real thing. I know people are like, I can't believe how long this is taking. Well, I couldn't either. So you're on my boat. I agree. And I guess, let me just throw that out at you guys. I get those comments a lot. When you get those comments, like, why do these things take so long? Or, well, in the case of our road, we're 2 months ahead of schedule, so that doesn't fall in that category. But what are your thoughts?
I think for the most part, people understand that a lot of it is beyond our control, either labor, materials, that sort of thing. I guess it would be specific to an individual project, but I think people understand that we're doing the best we can.
Yeah. I mean, once it goes out for bid, and a bid's accepted, it's on that contractor to perform. And most of those the city didn't build that building, right? I mean, it's on the contractor, and they're doing a great job with what they were given to work with, because they had a lot of things they had to fabricate and fix on that. It came as a kit, but the kit had some issues. And of course, for that particular building, what started as kind of this indoor-outdoor pavilion has turned into something that has a kitchen in it. And it's beautiful inside, and all the electrical has been hidden, so it's not just some warehouse. It's going to be something that we can all be very proud of. And the contractor's taken on himself to do a lot of those things. So, and of course the parking lot. We didn't know we had to have a NEPA study on the parking lot. That took forever to get through the feds. There's just so many layers to a project. Yeah, and it's very onerous, and yes, it's government, and I understand that somebody's like, hey, I could have built that building for X amount at this amount of time. You probably could have. If you owned the land and you had the ability to do that without having to go through all the regulations that are required to do it for us, yeah, and you probably could have. But
It's beautiful.
no, it's going to be great. Yeah, I'm excited to have it. I'm excited to see its use for this community. Councilor Buck, what are you excited about in 2026?
I'm just waiting to see what the future holds.
Yeah,
I remember never in my wildest dreams would I think I would be on the city council. The first time I showed up, my pastor couldn't make it for the prayer. So he said, hey, would you like to step in? And I said, yeah, sure. So I went in and I said the prayer before the meeting, and that's one thing I love about the whole thing to begin with. It caught my attention. I was like, wow, we pray in our city hall. You know, I like that. And then I kept coming a couple more times, and a couple more times he asked me, can you step in for me? So I stepped in, and then I just started coming to the meetings. And then my pastor's the one that called me again, and he said there was an opening, and I find myself here. It was all a plan, and years ago God gave me a plan and a goal, and I never knew I would end up here. Just a part of it's a stepping stone. I look at it, and I've learned so much in the city. And the very first day I got sworn in, the very next day we were breaking ground on the Pinion Hills, and I remember I got the sample. I'll always have that sample, and then I'm getting ready to finish my term, and we're going to be doing the ribbon cutting tomorrow. So start with it, end with it. Everything that we got going, the All Abilities Park, pavilions, the River Wave, everything that we've been doing it's been awesome. Every day was a learning for me, and I love to learn. Once I can't do a repetitious job because I get bored, but I like it. I've just been so glad to be here. I've learned so much.
yeah.
You've been an absolute pleasure to work with on this council, and I've enjoyed every minute of it with you.
It's been fun. My family says I'm Superman. 5 minutes later, I'm in Shiprock with my coveralls. 5 minutes later, I'm back over here with my Stacey Adams on, and then 5 minutes, I'm going back towing the car out of the ravine or something. It's been fun. I love it. And then doing the boxing gym and doing the jail and prison ministry, and I'm just making myself available, and I will continue no matter what.
I think that's what I would ask, Councilor Buck, and if you wanted to share a message with this community, because you have learned so much, and probably came in with some ideas of your own that maybe were validated or not validated, but you know what was one thing that stood out to you the most about Farmington now that you've kind of had this opportunity that you think they would like to know about?
I'm just here to serve. I love people, all races, all backgrounds, all cultures, and my dad just taught me to go out there and make something out of nothing, and that's what I do every day. I make something out of nothing, and he always used to tell me a nobody can be a somebody, you know, and I'm a nobody, and God is making me a somebody, and I just every day is a learning process, and I love the city of Farmington. I love the reservation. I recently been around the world, and I love Farmington. We've been to Hawaii, we've been to New York, we've been to Italy, and I still love the green chili in Farmington.
Heck yeah.
So
No, I think that's, and I'll just say this about you, Councilor Buck. Attitude and effort is something that I've preached to my kids when I've coached them, my own kids, and you have great attitude, and you always bring maximum effort. So that's a message I think we could all get better at, resonate with. But thank you for that. Yeah. I will tell you, and just kind of move through this, you know, in 2026, the anticipation of a lot more drilling in our community is anticipated. Mm-hmm. John Thompson with the Walsh Group made a comment that said, look, it's not about when, it's now, it's here. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how that develops. Again, I want to encourage people, if you're not in the workforce, we need you in the workforce, because there's going to be a lot of available jobs out there, and they're going to be good jobs. They're going to be hard jobs, but hard jobs they build character. That's what my father always taught me. So we're going to have that. I think that's going to happen this year. People have talked about data centers. We have the cleanest, most cost-effective, the lowest cost natural gas, I think, in the United States here in our basin. Obviously, we have data centers who are here talking to, I say us, it's a collective us, and hopefully we'll see somebody pull a trigger on that, because that would be some great jobs. Railroad, so San Juan County, the Navajo Nation, kind of that partnership. At the federal level, they're getting a lot of support for that project because it ties in agriculture and energy, and I think that would be I will just tell you, everything's looking very favorable, and I want to commend the county for their continued diligence in that, and for the partnership with the Navajo Nation. And then, of course, where San Juan Generating Station was, and our coal mine that was there, you're going to see that developed by P&M. I think 250 megawatts of solar will be going in there. That doesn't impact our utility per se, but it's going to impact us because there will be a lot of construction jobs, again, here in the area. So 2026 is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a very busy year in our town, and this goes back to the need. If there's more people on the roads, we need to be patient and gracious and and try the speed limits. It's going to be busy out there. Other projects that we're kind of finishing up here. I guess the museum. We've got a really interesting project going on there. Anybody want to jump into that? Anyone?
The history of Farmington.
Yeah.
It's an important story to tell, I believe, and I know Tanya Stinson with the Convention and Visitors Bureau was involved in that, and I think that we're going to be very impressed with the final product of that from what we've been told and what's been discussed with us. I'm excited to see how that comes into fruition in different phases.
So folks know, it's a permanent exhibit that
Right.
we're looking at, and the history of Farmington would be a natural history and a cultural history and economic history kind of rolled into one. And I think we've gone through phase one, kind of looking at it, and then we're looking at phase two and phase three. But I agree with you. I think it's going to add a very, I use the word important, that's probably not the right word, but it's going to give us an opportunity to tell the story. It's going to be able to bring kids from all across the Four Corners to Farmington for the purpose of visiting the museum, for that kind of thing. We'll still have our traveling exhibits. I
Right.
want people to know that. That's not, we're not getting rid of those, but we're going to actually dedicate something to us. And I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful display. The other thing, and this may be lower on our radar than maybe it should be, but we've gone through the process since 2018 of being designated as an arts and cultural district here in the state of New Mexico. And so we've had a lot of people working on that kind of behind the scenes, and this is specific for our downtown area, kind of the area surrounding downtown, and had an opportunity here a couple weeks ago to go to a public meeting to discuss that a little bit further, and very excited about the projects that they have kind of come up with that, in my mind, just continue to accentuate the beauty of this community, add some aesthetic components to it that I think will make people proud of where they live. And we have it's such a diverse city. You just think about if it arts and cultural district down, there's so much culture, and whether it's visual arts or physical arts, whatever the case may be, there's so much to be shared and celebrated that will make people proud of where they live. And then you're just this big retail hub at the same time, and then you're an energy hub in the same moment, and you're an outdoor recreation hub. We didn't even talk anything at all about outdoor recreation and the great things that are going on in that world. Double-digit increases in outdoor rec tourism here in our community. That's bringing people to Farmington. That's putting heads in beds. It's also creating that wow factor that we've talked about when people haven't been here for a long time, or what I've been getting lately is people who've moved back. And they're like, the face of this community is completely different than it was when I left. And that, to me, I think is something we should all be very proud of, and our community should be proud of.
One thing that you mentioned earlier was the Art and Cultural District, and I'm really excited about seeing where that goes. All of the sculptures that we have downtown that are just so beautiful, and they add so much to the community. And I guess if you haven't gone downtown to see those, you should. There's so many neat bronzes and sculptures that we change out every year.
Yeah.
And I think
Every
this
May.
last year we had 28 entries in that show, and it's a really neat thing that makes us different from other communities.
Yeah. Well, I will commend you all for your willingness to invest, A, in the renovation of downtown, and then B, in the continued accentuation of, with the lights and everything that we have been able to add in the course in this annual art sculpture program. I really love it. It gives people something to talk about, something to go look at, and at the same time, what I had hoped would happen is kind of happening. We're seeing where we kind of put the cart before the horse, so to speak. We've invested in this area. Now, if you walk downtown, do your Christmas shopping downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I just encourage you, go walk downtown Farmington Saturday. Go check out these shops. There is so much good stuff being sold. And those shop owners have invested, obviously, quite a bit of their own money, and they're betting on downtown, and we should give them a reason to bring their bets home. Go down there and see what they have to offer and support those local shops, because downtown has changed. I'm excited about it.
It's very vibrant.
Yeah. And this time of year, by the way, with all the lights,
It's beautiful.
pretty dynamic.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I was just there this morning having breakfast and just to hear the music.
Yes.
Right.
Walking downtown, 7 a.m., I was awesome.
I
Of course,
love the
there's the
music.
lights at the Civic Center too.
The Christmas.
wonderful.
Well, and you all saw. I mean, the lighting of the Christmas tree and the parade. Such a great time.
Festival of Trees was excellent. It's just so much going
Those trees
on.
blow my mind. I still have not won a tree yet. I don't know how I have so many tickets, and I put them in all those little buckets, and I've yet to win a tree.
I didn't either.
Same.
Someday it's going to happen for me. We're going to move on real quick. This has been a great episode. We've talked a little bit about some of the issues that we're facing. Housing is top of mind, and housing is such an important component when it comes to workforce development. And there's a lot of discussion, not just in Farmington and across the nation, on how do we address the fact that your average sale price for a home now in our community is north of $300,000, and how much that has grown since 2020. I know who to put the blame on for that, but it's sad, and at the same time, they're asking decision makers what you're going to do about it. So I want to kind of bring into this, and you all can add to it, but we're seeing a lot more housing activity. We've got developers here who now have land ready, and then we've approved housing projects. So we're seeing new houses being built. What we're not seeing is the multifamily housing, which is really, we need more of that multifamily housing. So there is, this is kind of very early in this conversation, but there is a discussion about building a home coalition with the county and other partners, and trying to come together where we could have a land bank and opportunity to help guide developers into this area, with areas that we can designate, this is where we'd like to see this built, we'd like to see this built. So we're trying to address it on that. Again, this is very early in the conversation, and we're going to be working on that, I think, over this next 6 months. But yes, incentives. Incentives is what the other part that they want to have. And the MRA, and we have a lot of available space in the MRA for developers to come in where we have the opportunity to provide some incentives, whether that's land or utilities, or I don't know. I mean, there's just some tools in the toolbox that I think are important for people to know exist there. And I just want to encourage individuals, if they're interested in investing in that, we need housing. We need multifamily housing.
Most definitely.
This workforce, if they consider affordable housing right now, an affordable house is $150,000. And I mean, the first house I bought in 2002 was $100,000.
Well, I'm probably dating myself, but my first house cost me $55,000.
I hope you still have it.
No, I don't. 1982.
Yeah, my second house was $225,000. And that was dual income. My wife as a nurse, and me in retail. I mean, that was dual income to buy that. And now we're talking $315,000, and it's interesting the way that's taken shape. And there's a lot of variables involved in that. Beyond this show and this conversation, you can listen to the radio show. We talk about it quite a bit. But any thoughts on that? On the housing aspect?
I think we really need affordable housing here, not just housing for the sake of housing, but how do we make it affordable? Rent is $2,500 a month.
Which is a mortgage.
That's a lot of money for someone who's making even $25 an hour. So how do we make it affordable? You know, and owning your home is a great way to build roots and wealth, and it's something that we definitely need. I think interest rates coming down are going to help with home ownership, but how do we build that? How do we build those homes? How do we get the what am I trying to say?
Well, I think the tough part is what is the role of a local government in
Right.
doing that with
Right.
limited resources, you know, limited tax base. What is our role in I mean, is it? I mean, again, are we subsidizing housing? I mean, we're seeing different communities do different things.
Well, we can keep the you know, the zoning, the ordinances, all of
That's a
that.
key.
That can help. But I think we're already pretty fair in that area.
Well, we continue to challenge the process too. And I will say that about our planning and zoning department, community works department. They continue to challenge the process on things, and obviously want to modernize, you know, any of these ordinances that need to be modernized.
Right.
But it's an interesting conversation. I know it's one being held at every level. So we'll keep focusing on that. But yeah, I mean, that's all I kind of had for today. But anybody want to add some context?
Going back to the homes, one thing I hear recently that I didn't hear back when I was growing up is the term tiny homes. So they're kind of getting more compact. So I didn't have a problem with the new subdivision that we approved, being smaller homes and smaller lots. I think that's a great thing, you know. So a lot of people are going smaller. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some news around the county of groups trying to do like tiny home developments and those kind of things. And one of the things, you know, that's important for developers to have access, especially when it's multifamily housing, is sewer. And there are some limitations to how far, you know, the public sewer system runs through San Juan County. And so it kind of limits some of that available land that might be out there because of the cost of getting sewer out there is going to be pretty expensive. But, you know, we've got to have housing. So it's going to be an interesting discussion, and I think there'll be a lot of innovative ideas that come out of it. You know, the question is just how much can we afford to do some of these things? It's very expensive to run a city, to provide all the
Absolutely.
services that we provide, but it's an issue that's very forefront of everything else that we do. I mean, you can't have businesses who don't have housing for their families.
That's right.
You know, I mean, that's just the kind of the bottom line. And I think at some point you'll have some of these businesses and their owners putting more money into that component of it because they're like, hey, I don't know what else to do. I got to find places for people to live.
Right.
So, yeah.
The thought I was having on that, Mayor, is your comment about shopping local. Shop downtown. It has a lot to do with housing. Yes, you could just as easily get what you're looking for in 2 days on Amazon, and yes, we still get to keep that GRT now. However, by supporting a local business, you're supporting their families. They're going to contribute to their employees, and the cycle continues to repeat itself. And so it is important to stay focused on our community and what are we doing for us.
I agree.
My thoughts on that. Absolutely. Keep it local, stay local. Councilor Rogers, I assume you were referring to the proverbial, what can we do about it? Well, we unfortunately can't control the cost of building a home. But what can we focus on? We can encourage people to be mindful of where they spend their money, how they spend their money, the quality of life that they're looking for. Maybe some people do desire a smaller home, or they don't need the larger home. We were talking about starting at McDonald's. We all have to start somewhere, and let's grow our community organically.
You know, just the history of this community is such an interesting read from where we've been over the last 125 years, which is something we should probably mention. But 2026 is going to be our 125th birthday as a city, and it kind of aligns itself with the 250-year birthday of our country. There will be some very fun celebrations that will be happening this next year. But just the history of Farmington itself, from very rural agricultural roots. I mean, all the early Times Hustler articles and things talking about selling apples, all from the San Juan or from the basin, all over the United States. And I encourage people to go out, by the way, and if you can find these, you can find them all online. Read these things; they're incredible articles, and they're so fun to read. But then the transition in the 1950s and 60s, where all the natural gas lines that were being built, and the way this all of a sudden the orchards went away and housing went up, and we doubled or tripled our population in like a 10-year period, and then the booms and the bust cycles associated with natural gas, and where we're at now, and I think we're in a very good place. I really do, for growth and for opportunities for families and for all the other kind of the segments of society that we've been focused on, remote workers, retirees. I mean, retirees, we've got a 55 and older community that, gated community that's, build a home now. And you'd have this beautiful backyard for you to live in. So I've talked to a bunch of remote workers just in this past month who have moved here for the very reason that they wanted access to the Four Corners outdoors. And, why wouldn't I want to be here? Met a young man who moved his family here from Houston to go to work for Hillcorp. And he's like, this is incredible. Like, we had no idea what to anticipate, but this, it's been great. So I think we're in a really good spot. Things are always in transition. Change is always occurring. And I think our community is kind of built on that. But it'll be telltale what happens in 2026. It's going to be interesting what the next 5 years, 10 years holds for us.
I know one thing for sure. We've done a really good job as a community setting ourselves up well to make ourselves successful in the years to come. And it's not dependent on an industry or a thing, but it's more diversification, broader services, broader economic base here in Farmington and in San Juan County.
I agree. Absolutely.
We aren't unaware of the cyclical nature of our economy. And the five of us sitting here, we've all been a part of this community for decades, each of us. And that matters. We're a part of that story that we want to tell. We're going to be a part of that story going forward. And it matters. Why are we here? To serve, to learn. And I'm excited for what more we can do to continue serving this community and the people who come to it.
Yeah. 125 years isn't really that old. So that's the other part of it too. We're still growing. We're still maturing. We're, as a city goes,
evolving.
Evolving. Yeah. I mean, I've been here 1993, so 32 years. Most of that, 32 years anyway. And I know many of you have been here longer than that.
I'm sorry.
But I just think about my little portion of that. It's just that's my little piece. But then the pieces that preceded, and I can tell you the piece that I've been involved in has seen this community change dramatically. And so much of that change has occurred in the last 10 years. And
absolutely,
that's something I'm very proud to be a part of, and proud of this community coming together in a very, again, 2014 was kind of a crazy moment for people. They didn't know what to expect the future to be like for us. And people put their feet down and said, we can do this together, and we have. And here we are, 2026 coming up.
Wow. In anticipation of this segment, I was reflecting back on my time on council, the 10 years that I've been on council. We've lived through COVID. We lived through the Gold King mine spill. We have had drought. We've come through a lot of really hard things, and we're resilient.
We are.
And we can get through hard things and come out stronger in the end. The power plant being shut down. It's incredible what we've been through and what we will probably go through that we don't even know about. But we are a strong community, and we're stronger together. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Farmington.
Me either. Any other closing thoughts? No? Councilor Bam Kelly, you sure?
I'm sure.
All right. Well, you ready to close it out then? Move on to 2026?
I just want to, again, express my thanks to Councilor Buck and We'll miss him, and don't be a stranger to any of us. We love you and we care about you.
I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I've called you and texted you, and we've had conversations, and you'll always be a part of my heart. Farmington will always be part of my heart, and I will always be here serving, whether I'm city councilor or not.
Yeah.
You know, and just so many great things the city has to offer. Leadership San Juan. I'll be on the panel Friday, so that's another, awesome thing. Municipal League across the state. It's awesome to show up to Rio Doso and the mayor knows you. And he says, I want to come out and hang out with you. When you come down here, come hang out with me. Even the mayors from Clovis, even Rio Rancho, they come up to you and they know you. And I'm like, wow. I love New Mexico. I love Farmington, San Juan County, and just excited to see what the future holds. A lot of plans, and we'll see what door opens.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, for always being there.
Yes,
Each
sir.
and every one of you. I love you guys.
We love you too.
Well, Councilor, thank you, and thank you for bringing your family to be such a big part of what was going on here in our community, and taking that time to open up their eyes and get them involved. And I told your daughter that next year she can still serve Thanksgiving lunch with us.
They're excited.
Yeah.
She was
They love
great.
it.
Yeah, but it's just an opportunity for them that they may not have had. And
Yeah.
now they know, and we need to educate everybody at that level if we can to invite them in and let them get involved, because when you have a heart to serve, your community benefits
Yeah.
dramatically.
Councilor Buck exemplifies a true servant's heart. We are blessed to have known you and Farmington as a better place because you are in it. Thank you.
Yep. I flew into the airport the other day and met a guy on the plane, and now he moved here. He moved from Ohio, and he's a part of a prison ministry. So I'm like, wow. And then we both ride motorcycles. So we rode motorcycles and been helping with a couple of different men's programs. So we're getting ready to open up some men's programs. So there's a lot of things available in the city, and I'm just jumping in nose first. And as far as our community, I wanted to share with the community, and we're a car community. I'm a car person. I'm a motorcycle person. We do the side-by-side, we do the Jeeps, we do the rock crawling. We're going to be bringing in the lowrider Smithsonian to the museum April. So in April we'll have in our museum a lowrider exhibit from Smithsonian. That's awesome. The city, Krista and Natalie, we got a good team. And with that being said, I wanted to talk to the community and watch how you drive. Let's slow down. Let's watch out for others, whether it be motorcycles or whether it be, we got a lot of bad reports on racing. Parents, talk to your children. Let your children be accountable. I had to be accountable to my parents. So make your children accountable, and those of you that are driving, please slow down. Somebody's mother's out there, somebody's brother's out there, somebody's family's out there. Don't hurt anyone and don't hurt yourselves. That's what I wanted to share as far as the city.
Awesome.
No, right on target, man. No, very, very timely as well. Well, good. Councilor Giacchino, any final words?
I think Councilor Buck said it all.
All right.
Let's love on each other, slow down, and not just literally, proverbially. Let's all take a breath, acknowledge what a beautiful community we have, and not just the things that we were talking about, the parks and the stuff and the new stores coming in. We have each other. We are resilient. We have endured all of the things Councilor Rogers, the list that she went through in the last 8 years, we've endured because we have each other and we serve for the right reason.
I can say that. Anytime people ask me about this council, each of you, I think, are very selfless in your actions and your decisions, and I think that's so important. And anytime we look, for individuals interested in our advisory committees, I'm looking for people who just have a heart to serve. They have some knowledge, some background, something that they bring to the table, but they're not here because they have an agenda. And that's where things always go sideways. But I think if we all serve selflessly for the sake of other people, we're doing it for the right reasons. So with that, I will just say Merry Christmas to you out there, and certainly Happy New Year as we move into 2026. I can't believe that I'm saying that out loud.
Wow.
But take the time share this video. Give people an opportunity in your circle who may not otherwise be familiar with the Farmington City Council. I think this is a great opportunity to learn about who each of these individuals are. You can tell their passion for their community, their passion for service, their vision for this community, and you're seeing it take shape around you each and every day. So take that time, share it. Also, if you're looking for more information about what's going on in the city of Farmington, go onto the city manager's page of the Farmington City's website, and we can have Greg put that on the screen, farmingtonnm.gov. Go to the city manager page, and you'll see a listing of what we call the monthly report. And that monthly report will provide you a synopsis of activities that have occurred in each of the departments throughout the city for that particular month. You can go back, I think, all the way through 2024 and pull up those monthly reports, but it's eye-opening to kind of see what's happening. It also reports our gross receipts, tax collections on there. It goes all the way down and reports how many animals we're taking into the shelter, how many golf rounds have happened, what is our IT department doing, how many calls of services, fire, and police responding to. Those are really eye-opening, by the way. But educate yourself, take the time and educate those around you, but get involved in your community, get involved in this city. There's a lot of special things happening. We want to see you out there enjoying those things, investing in those things, and being a part of that fabric that makes Farmington so special. So Merry Christmas again, Happy New Year's to all of you and your families, and we'll see you here in 2026 on the Mayor's Table.